Hi and welcome to the Cult TV Sofa. This is a reaction video of the 10th episode of the one and only season of Automan called Murder Take 1. Last time we saw a saboteur planting a small bomb on a music video set. We discovered that someone planted it as a warning to the singer's father so that they could blackmail him. Walter was assigned to protect the singer, and of course Automan came along for the ride. After the band guitarist pulled out of the gig, Automan of course stepped in to help out. After the girl was kidnapped and Automan experienced some power issues, the pretty incompetent blackmailer, because he showed his face to everyone, pushed his luck too far and met his match in Wally in a hand-to-hand combat. I know, I was surprised as well. So let's see what happens in this episode. I'm going to put any relevant trivia that I find over here, and at the end of the reaction I'll be discussing what happened and my thoughts about it. And I'm going to start it in 3, 2, 1.
Shall I get your car, Mr. Gillette?
Anything, it's a red Porsche.
Yes, sir.
Look at you with your red Porsche. I'd be going up and saying, yeah, it's the black Dacia, the small cheap one in the corner.
So how is the Jack the Ripper of journalism?
I gather you read today's column.
I'm going to sue you into oblivion.
It's a shame you can't be that dramatic on screen.
So she's an actress. So Murder Take 1, I assumed it was something to do with films.
Ciao, Veronica!
You're dead!
Oh, well, that's not very clever. Shouting it out for everyone to hear. So he's a newspaper columnist and printed something pretty nasty about her by the sounds of it. And she's not too happy. So it pays well, whatever he's doing. House like that in Los Angeles, worth a lot of money.
Good evening. Goodbye.
I'll tell you who was behind the murder.
That would help.
Veronica Everly.
You mean the actress?
Most people might quibble with that description.
Yeah.
I brought everything that Keith was working on, all his notes.
Have you got a computer jockey for this? I'll get this stuff to Wally.
Here's a load of paper. I'll give it to my computer bloke to do it. Hands of it though, his style of journalism's. I bet he's got tons of enemies. She's just the most recent one.
Someone who has a good reason to see Keith Gillette dead. Who? Michael Hagedorn. Gillette was involved in an investigation into the financing of a movie called The Silver Dawn. Apparently, he stumbled onto the fact that Hagedorn was paying for the film with illicit drug profits.
That's a good reason. But like I say, he's bound to have loads of enemies.
Well, is there anything you'd like me to do while you're gone?
Go away.
Nothing.
Why would you leave him there? Tell him to go away. Fade away.
Officer Nebaker's running some computer checks for me. But when I heard Miss Everly was here, I just had to say hello.
He's got that blue glow back in his eyes. It seems to come and go. I'm assuming they do it with some sort of lighting, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
I have a late call at the studio tonight. Perhaps if you're not doing anything later, you'd like to drop by the set.
I think Officer Nebaker was expecting you to stick around.
Roxanne's trying her best to stop him.
The auto car, please. I've decided to take Miss Everly up on her invitation. Of course Walter won't mind. You know how open-minded he is?
You've met him, haven't you?
Good evening, officer.
Why would you change into your suit?
No, actually, I'm a guest of Veronica Everly. Stage 18? Thank you.
No checks, nothing, just let in some random bloke.
Maybe I ought to go back to the day shift.
Maybe we should get another job.
I feel at home already.
Oh, that's true. I suppose he could kind of fit in there. He needs to explain away his suit in there.
Don't do this to me! You clumsy oaf!
Cut! Cut!
There's obviously great chemistry between those two.
Well, how do you expect me to do a love scene with this mealy-mouthed twerp?
Hey, look. If your sugar daddy wasn't bankrolling this picture, you wouldn't even be in it.
It's a small part. We'll get another actor.
We will.
I wonder who that's going to be.
What about him?
Who?
gorgeous hunk over there. Now that's somebody I could do a love scene with.
Can they put in a random person in America? Isn't there like the Stage Actors Guild? Don't actors have to be a member of the guilds to be in a film like this?
How would you like to do a love scene with me? Right here. Right now.
With lots of rehearsal.
Read the part of Gib.
Scan it.
I know my lines. I'm a quick study.
That's actually quite good, because that probably is how he would work. In fact, I wish we see a bit more of that, because I think there's been times where he should have done that in the past and he hasn't. He is a data collection machine, basically. He should be able to remember and store information that he hasn't had access to.
Hey, Phil, how are you?
Hello, Mike. Can I get you anything, Mr. Hagedorn?
No, that'll be all, Oscar. Thanks.
Oh, that was the shooter, wasn't it?
Yeah, as your lawyer, I have to remind you that if they don't finish shooting this movie by the 14th of this month, the other investors have the right to pull out, which means you'll get stuck with the whole 20 million. So, look, if worst comes to worst, we'll cut out the last few
20
scenes.
billion. It's quite a lot for a
Unfortunately,
film
the
like that.
contract is very specific. If you don't deliver every word as written in the script, every scene, then they have the right to walk away without coming up with a dime.
Yeah, someone didn't do a very good job of the contract.
I end up having to kill a gossip columnist to keep him from exposing my whole operation. Yeah, well, I got a bigger problem. Because if I have to pay for this movie, I won't be able to pay Casey for that heroin that's coming in. And he'll kill me before I'll take an IOU.
I've heard before, in fact I was going to pause, I don't know if this was the plot of a TV show or a film, of certainly back then, people did used to put money into films as a way of laundering it. But I don't know if that was the plot or if that's real. No, not sure.
Mr. Hagedorn, there's a guy parked across the street. He's been there for close to an hour. I'm gonna check it out.
Wally doing some good undercover work. And let me guess, Wally just sits there, doesn't see him come in.
Police officer.
Sorry, officer. You know, we've been having a lot of burglaries lately.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm here.
Yeah. As soon as he saw that license plate, I knew he was going to have to take him. Where is this fighting ability come from? He was a complete wimp at the beginning of the series, and the last couple of episodes he's been doing spin kicks and all sorts. Granted, he might be learning self-defense, but it's not been explained. It just happened, and he doesn't come across as a martial arts expert. On assignment. I got the A drive.
What assignment?
Got Automan and a floppy disk.
If you're looking for Automan, he's probably down at the J-Tree studio.
Well, I'm sure he's keeping a low profile.
Starring in a film. You'd think he'd have some kind of overrides that he'd be able to... I mean, it's a program. He should be able to basically break the program, Control-Alt-Delete it. I know that's obviously you couldn't do that back then, but he should be able to force stop the program. He must be able to do that. It's a computer program. And then restart it and regenerate him there. It is ridiculous that he has no control over him. When I say it, I mean the program, not him, Automan, although Automan isn't it as well, really. He's not really a person, he's a hologram.
Okay, that's a cut. I said that's a cut.
Go for extra credit.
You have an agent?
What's an agent?
Like a vampire with a telephone.
Like that.
You mean I'm in the movies? Just like that?
They don't call it the Dream Factory for nothing.
I don't know if it happens so much these days, but that's pretty much how Harrison Ford got his break. If I remember rightly, he was a handyman, and he happened to be there doing some work at George George Lucas. George Lucas's house, and he just happened, as he was there, auditioned for the role of Han Solo, and he got it. Rest is history. So I think there's been a few other people have done that as well. It's happened to be right place, right time. Still trying to find my right place, right time. I think I missed it.
What are you doing?
Oh. Hello, Walter.
See, Walter's got that little bit of blue glow as well. There's some lighting effect they're trying to shine onto his eyes, but it's sort of bounced off others as well.
That first name, Michael Hagedorn, he's an underworld figure reputed to be a drug trafficker. Gillette died in the middle of investigating that movie Hagedorn was financing.
What about this other name?
Philip Eames. I traced him down from the license of the car I saw pull up to Hagedorn's last night. He's evidently Hagedorn's attorney.
If you'll notice, he must spend all of his time making large cash deposits into brokerage houses.
It looks suspiciously like this Eames character makes his living by doing other people's laundry. All right. Just as long as you put the investigation first, you can take the part.
How can he be happy with having Automan being on screen? I mean, it's wrong on so many levels. People seeing him is not good. I mean, they're not going to want that blue glow around his collar. They're going to have very specific things for him to wear, and he's not going to be able to wear them. I've never seen him put on normal clothes. I suppose he could put them on, but he's still going to... Normally he generates them. He still have that glow about him. And he's meant to be he's gone undercover a few times, so you're not going to want him on a film where everyone can see him. It's going to hamper their efforts in the future. It's wrong on so many levels.
Who was that?
Wouldn't say. Give me a hot tip on the Gillette murder.
You think it's for real?
Well, there's only one way to find out.
Sounds like a setup. Yeah, some dodgy warehouse in the middle of nowhere on his own. Well, on the flip side, his car's now compact.
All right, get out!
There's no point taking down the one cop where there's one there's another.
Hello, Phillips. Phil Hagedorn. That cop knew everything about the Cayman Island accounts.
I'm telling you, Phil, they know everything.
If we don't finish principal photography in this turkey by 6 p.m. tomorrow, it won't make much of a difference.
How's the movie going? We on schedule?
If there are no catastrophes, we'll make it. But if we don't, you're going to have a hard time explaining to Casey why you can't afford to pay for the goods you ordered.
So they see Wally sitting outside, but they don't see a van with a satellite dish on top of it sat outside. Telephone.
Thanks for your help, Cursor.
They'd still check it out. And no one saw that in broad daylight?
Hagedorn and his attorney are supposed to take delivery of 20 kilos of heroin very soon. The only problem is if he can't finish the movie by tomorrow evening, he can't complete the deal.
Agent Man, you still have a couple of scenes left in the movie, don't you?
Yes. Why?
Mess them
Then
up.
what you've got to do is make sure that they don't finish.
But he's not going to be happy with that. He wants to do a good job.
Well, I tried to trace the call that was placed from where they have Lieutenant Curtis, but they weren't on long enough.
The first 4 digits. Well, at least that's a start.
The times that Agent Man has been involved in the cases, surely the police would have to include information on him in their reports. And then there would obviously be some checks, if not at the very least by the defendant, the person being prosecuted's lawyers. They'd find out that he doesn't exist. And surely then the whole case would fall apart, because he's not an FBI agent. He's actually jeopardizing prosecutions by doing what he's doing, because he's not a real agent. The information he got then from the phone call wasn't legally obtained. So any information they find from that phone number would be fruit of the poisonous tree. It wouldn't be admissible in court. There's so much wrong with this.
Your call was 90 minutes ago.
I guess I overslept.
Oh, well, that's different. He overslept. Would you mind getting into wardrobe? We gotta move.
As soon as I have lunch.
So he started being an actor now as a diva already.
Do something about this blue psych. It clashes with my collar.
Especially on a film set, his collar would definitely be... It would cause a glow or an effect on the film. They wouldn't let him have it.
You walk right to her.
Why?
What do you mean, why? Because that's where the rest of the scene is
What's
playing.
my motivation?
But what's my motivation?
I knew that was coming.
You see, we've spent the last 90 minutes lighting this entire set.
Exactly, lighting it. That glow's going to throw off the lighting.
Oh, I've missed you so.
It won't be long now.
So he's the lawyer and he's the sugar daddy.
What do you mean, getting rid of Michael?
That's right.
That, my dearest, is something you can leave to me.
So she's fully involved in it all. She knows all the details. Those were badly... His hand's free already! I learned something when I was little, I suppose the best way of putting it, but certainly very, very young. I can't remember what TV programme it was, but if ever you have your... This was sort of definitely a TV programme, okay? I learned this, not from experience. If ever your hands are tied up, always tense your muscles when they're tying your hands, and really strain to tense, because your muscles will kind of expand a bit. And then when your hands are tied up, because they'll tighten it really strongly, then when you relax, there's a little bit of flex, a little bit of gap in the rope. Makes it easier for you then to untie yourself. Little tip in case you ever get kidnapped or tied up. Your own time's up to you.
I cannot stress enough. I need everyone's cooperation. Everyone.
3 more hours and we're home free, huh?
And it may just be the 3 longest hours of your life.
Denver, take one.
It is a bit ridiculous. Everything is so finely timed that they literally are filming the final scene 3 hours before the deadline, and if they don't hit it, that's $20 million. You'd think they would have put a bit more pressure, the backer and the lawyer, to have rushed a few things as they were getting closer to the time to get it all done ahead of time. I would not be so calm sat there with 20 million on the line.
This phone number. It's a brand new installation in an abandoned building.
Have you got an address on that?
I sure do.
All right, then, let's get going.
Okay.
He's going.
You hear something?
You're hearing things. Turn it up. Turn it up.
He thinks he hears something, so he tells him to turn it up. Obviously not worried about their car getting stolen.
All right, boys, toss your weapons over here, nice and easy.
Oh, shot the captain.
Come on. You certainly are trigger happy. It wouldn't surprise me if you're the man who murdered Keith Gillette.
You're crazy.
Well, at the very least, they got that guy for shooting the captain, kidnapping a police officer, and pulling the gun on Wally earlier, so he's going to go away for a while.
No, I'm all right. Come on, let's go.
What? You've been shot? Of course you need attention.
What clouds?
Cursor?
Keep rolling.
Be careful, Cursor. Don't hurt anyone.
He's causing criminal damage to the set. And possibly could cause serious harm to someone. They could probably, if he was I know he's not a real person, but they could sue him for probably the 20 million, because it's his fault they didn't finish the filming. So to recoup the cost, they could sue him for that. In America, I think they could probably do that. Obviously, if he was a real person. If they tried to sue him, he doesn't exist, so they would be able to. But in theory, if that was real and he was causing that kind of disruption, I think they could.
All right, stand up with your hands raised.
He was shot.
I said, where is the door?
And he's got the gun in his right hand, which is where he was shot. Why wouldn't you send in 20 police officers?
Here, look the other way.
I don't believe it. How could something like this happen? I'm out 20 million.
That's the least of your problems. You give me the combination of your safe and I become a very wealthy man.
Stay away, kitty.
I don't think he'll hurt me, Michael.
Oh, he was the sugar daddy, and he did the dirty with the lawyer.
Drop it! Now! All right. Who wants to talk first?
I'm surprised he chased him. If the other guy had the gun, I thought he would be the primary target for you to arrest if you have a choice between the two.
Quick, Cursor! Coming down!
So I assume... I mean, he does have the 20 million, but he either has to use it to pay for the drugs, or he has to use it to pay for the film. I assume because the film's all falling apart, and everything was going to go horribly wrong, the lawyer was going to basically take that 20 million and do a runner with it, leaving this guy with 20 million to pay for the film and 20 million to fine for the drugs. So it'd be 40 million out of pocket, and the lawyer's got the 20 million on an island somewhere. I assume that's what's happened.
When I answer my fan mail, should I sign Automan or just plain Auto?
I bet those was real headshots. It was an alright episode. There's just always so many flaws in them. And I know if back then you just kind of watched it, and probably even now you just don't think about all the flaws. I'm obviously very focused on it and picking up on stuff. But it's things like the Wally and the captain going to look at those drugs. You would surely send... I mean, there was a police unit that turned up after them, but why wouldn't you wait for backup at the very least? But the captain wouldn't go in. He would send in officers to do that. And then the captain's shot, so he goes with Jack. They went to catch the kidnappers, and then the captain and Jack went to look for the drugs. He's been shot, and he's there again, not sending in officers to look for the drugs. But he was holding the gun in his right hand, and that's where he'd been shot, in that shoulder. He didn't get any medical treatment. That just doesn't make sense. Yeah, it was a weird one. Didn't see much. There wasn't much of the car. It was all. I think probably a cheaper episode for them to do this one compared to other ones. There wasn't much. A lot of it was on set. So I wonder if it was like a sort of a filler episode to with a lower budget to help balance out some of the more special effects heavy episodes. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about it. It was just a bit this episode. I know I'm being quite negative about it. I still have really fond memories of watching this when I was growing up. All these kind of shows like Street Talk, Automan, Knight Rider. I know, looking at them now and analysing the way I'm doing now, it's so easy to find all the flaws. Looking at it in, with a modern eye, and even just an adult's eye. But I did really enjoy them when I was little. In fact, I'd even go so far as to say they're an important part of my growing up, all these kind of shows, because they really got me into science fiction and computers in a lot of way. My background, job-wise, is IT. So I've got... I said a key word and my Alexa just kicked off. So yeah, they were an important part of my growing up. It's just looking at them now, they just don't hold up quite so well as they did. But as I say, it's not to say that I'm not enjoying watching them. It's just, analysing them, picking up on things. Yeah, that's why I'd mention it. So let me know what you thought about this one in the comments below. We're on episode 10, so only 3 left to go, I think. So yeah, shall see you for the next one. Be seeing you.